Taiwan considers keeping nuclear reactors on emergency standby. Putin could be overthrown by the Wagner mercenary army. Belarus offers nuclear weapons to future allies. North Korea notifies Japan of plan to launch satellite. Italy PM says good ties with China possible without Belt and Road. Iran exchanges heavy gunfire with Taliban. China's C-919 passenger plane enters into service. Philippines warns of possible flooding as Typhoon Mawar passes slowly.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It's Tuesday, May 30th, and here are your top stories. Bloomberg reported that according to Taipei-based United Daily News reports, Taiwan's Vice President Lai Ching-te, the ruling Democratic Progressive Party's presidential candidate, said the government plans to maintain shut reactors so that they could be restarted in an emergency. Taiwan's Economics Minister Wang Meihua told reporters on Monday a restart strategy would only be needed in extreme emergencies, such as external blockades or serious natural disasters.
The facility known as the second nuclear plant has been feeding the grid since 1981.
Minister Wang said that restart strategy would need to be safe and have consensus among lawmakers and the public. Bloomberg said the use of nuclear as backup power generation would be unusual because of the high costs and safety measures required. Taiwan's plans to phase out its last remaining atomic plant by 2025 go against a global resurgence of the technology to reduce dependence on fossil fuels. According to state-owned Taiwan Power Company, Taiwan got about 11% of its power from nuclear power in 2021.
According to Igor Girkin, a former Russia's Federal Security Service officer who once led a group of Russian militants in Donetsk, Vladimir Putin could be ousted by Russia's private military group, the Wagner Army. Girkin said in a tweeted video shared by Word Translated, a coup attempt has been declared. What will happen next? I don't know, especially as Wagner's is urgently withdrawn to rear bases. The danger of a looming coup is clear. If Prigozhin remains the head of Wagner, the mutiny will come quickly and radically.
Wagner says that militia is moving out, and that would put Russia's military back on the front lines there. But Ukraine.
Insider reported that Girkin has been critical of the impact of the invasion of Ukraine on Russia. In a YouTube manifesto last month, reported on by the Ukrainian newspaper Ukrainska Pravda, Girkin said that the situation on the front line has had an extremely negative impact on Russia's ability to win the war. Girkin said the Russian economy, military, and political system were unprepared for such a long, protracted war. He added, "I'm not afraid to say that we are heading towards military defeat."
Belarus President Alexander Lukashenko has claimed that nations who are willing to join the Union State of Russia and Belarus will be given nuclear weapons. Lukashenko, a close ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin, made the comments in an on-camera interview released Sunday on the state-run Russia One channel. During the interview, Lukashenko said, "It's very simple," he added, "join the Union State of Belarus and Russia, that's all. There will be nuclear weapons for everyone."
The agreement on establishment of the Union State of Belarus and Russia Treaty was signed in 1999 and set up a legal basis for a wide-ranging alliance that spanned economic, information, technology, agriculture, and border security among other things between the two countries. Last Thursday, the Belarusian autocrat said the transfer of some tactical nuclear weapons from Russia to Belarus had begun, following an agreement signed by Moscow and Minsk.
A Japanese Coast Guard official said on Monday that North Korea has notified Japan of a plan to launch a satellite between May 31st and June 11th. The Japanese Prime Minister's office urged North Korea to refrain from the launch and said it would work closely with allies. The Prime Minister's office said on Twitter that the Japanese government would do all it could to collect and analyze information from the launch. The office added it would cooperate with relevant countries such as the United States and South Korea.
Well, North Korea claims that it's ready to launch its first ever spy satellite. Now,
North Korea had said it had completed work on its first spy satellite. North Korean state media KCNA reported North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in May inspected a military satellite facility. The KCNA report said Kim had approved the next steps of the Non-Permanent Satellite Launching Preparatory Committee. Analysts say that the military satellite is part of nuclear-armed North Korea's efforts to advance surveillance technology, including drones, to improve its ability to strike targets in the event of a conflict.
Do today learn. Today is Tuesday.
Commercial.
Traveler 是旅行者。
I have to wait for click.
So he or she is at the Columbia Towers Hotel gift store. 所以他在这个饭店的礼品店，然后他要买东西。Okay, so let's take this chance and listen to the.
学习让生活充满乐趣。Funday 英语。
Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said in an interview published on Sunday that good relations with China are possible even without being part of the Belt and Road Initiative deal, as her government weighs abandoning the project. In an interview with Il Messaggero Daily, Meloni said it was too early to anticipate the outcome of Italy's decision on whether to remain part of the project. Meloni said, "Our assessment is very delicate and touches upon many interests."
Meloni noted that Italy was not the European and Western country with the strongest economic and trade ties with China. She said, "This means it is possible to have good relations, also in important areas, with Beijing, without necessarily these being part of an overall strategic design." The pact expires in March 2024 and will be automatically renewed unless either side informs the other that they are pulling out. Earlier this month, a senior Italian government official told Reuters it was highly unlikely that Italy would renew the Belt and Road deal.
The Taliban and Iran exchanged heavy gunfire last Saturday on the Islamic Republic's border with Afghanistan, killing and wounding troops while sharply escalating rising tensions between the two countries amid a dispute over water rights. Iran's state-run Iran news agency quoted the country's deputy police chief General Qassem Rezai, accusing the Taliban of opening fire first last Saturday morning on the border of Iran's Sistan and Baluchistan province and the Afghan province of Nimroz.
From the Taliban's view, Afghan Interior Ministry spokesman Abdul Nafi Taqor accused Iran of shooting first. Taqor said the firefight killed 2 people, one from each country, and wounded others. Afghan Defense Ministry spokesman Anayatollah Khawarazmi said in a statement, "The Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan considers dialogue to be a reasonable way for any problem." He added, "Making excuses for war and negative actions is not in the interest of any of the parties."
China's first domestically manufactured large passenger jet has successfully completed its maiden commercial flight. State TV showed the C919 rising into the skies above Shanghai, heading to the capital Beijing early on Sunday. It was built by the Commercial Aviation Corporation of China in the hope of breaking the dominance of Airbus and Boeing's single-aisle jets. However, the 164-seater still relies heavily on Western components, including engines and avionics.
Designed to compete with jets from Europe's Airbus and the U.S. airplane maker Boeing, the C919 can carry many more passengers and has a much longer range than its little brother, the ARJ-21. The C919 made its first test flight in 2017 and has undergone several similar flights since. State-backed China Eastern Airline has ordered 5 of the newer, bigger planes. Some experts say that most of the orders COMAC announced are believed to be letters of intent from domestic customers.
Philippine officials began evacuating hundreds of villagers, shut down schools and offices, and imposed a no-sail ban Monday as Typhoon Mawar approached the country's northern provinces. The storm, locally named Betty, was not expected to make landfall in the mountainous region. However, forecasters warned that the typhoon would slow down considerably off the northernmost province of Batangas from Tuesday to Wednesday and could cause dangerous tidal surges, flash floods, and landslides as it blows past.
As of Monday, Typhoon Mawar was moving northwest in the Pacific Ocean about 525 kilometers east of the coastal town of Apari in Cagayan Province with maximum sustained winds of 155 kilometers per hour and gusts of up to 190 kilometers per hour. Disaster preparedness officials said Army troops, police, firefighters and volunteer groups were standing by for possible search and rescue in northern provinces, and more than 1 million food packs for displaced villagers have been prepared.
Now let's take a look at the vocabulary of the news of Taiwan considering keeping nuclear reactors on emergency standby. Number 1, external, 外部的，外面的. The lotion is for external use only. Number 2, blockade, 有指对港口的包围封锁. The leadership discussed a plan of economic measures to counter the effects of such a blockade. Number 3, consensus, 一致的意见，共识. There is a general consensus among teachers about the need for greater security in schools. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I'll see you next time.